of this fight, going in, swinging wide on that Watson to finish her off and getting that team cruelty. This push, scissors again. Even though low profile has been removed from Pathfinder, he's still built like a truck and he takes a lot of damage.
Well, when you're not shooting your guns and you're swapping back and forth between the two, deciding if you want to shoot the Kraber or the Mastiff, that's how badly you're going to get lasered. So it was pretty interesting to watch how Moosin was able to recover throughout all that. But also, it was a great res over towards the side and a great push coming in from Team Cheez It, making sure that they capitalize when all these players are weak, when there's players down, et cetera, et cetera. You have to make that call. You could sit back and try to formulate a plan, or you could full send it right there. That's exactly what they did on the Team Cheez It side. So props to them. But again, this was definitely the play of the game. You got to give it to Team Cruelty, picking up a lot of kills, doing it with the Pathfinder, doing it with the Watson, the old school comp that we used to see.
Yeah, really being able to win out this fight secured them the top two at the very least, along with the kills that they got. But yeah, it's great to see our partner squads. It looks like there's like some sort of renewed energy as we start off the season. It's all about carrying it through, though. We have to remember that this season does have its stakes as well. We do have relegations that do take place later on. You want to be within the top five of our 9 partnered squads to try and maintain your spot in Series E. So we get another look. That's basically the life of a Pathfinder right there. You just get melted. And we saw a number of Pathfinders, and so it's been great to see him getting back a bit more and more into the fold. But it still remains to be seen how likely teams will continue to run him, Tom.
Yeah, Casper again was a nuisance with the scout over towards the side, getting the high ground, and with the Horizons kind of falling out of play because Wraith is again becoming more and more popular. That high ground becomes that much more important, right? Horizon offered a lot of different utility, especially when you combine it with Caustic, especially when you combine it with the Gibraltar ult. But you lack the portals, and you can see when the zones move if you're not going into the right spot, and if you're not taking a lot of fights over towards the edge, then you're not going to be able to get into these powerful positions that Wraiths are able to get you to. So while she has had a lot of changes, a lot of tweaks, people are still kind of going towards that. Again, Horizon's a lot of fun, decent to play in ranked if you want to go and have, you know, the switch up and all that type of stuff. But that's what I love about Apex. We're still kind of going to figure out what this meta is. We're still going to figure out what's working for other people. And right now, a lot of people kind of leaning on Watson, a lot of people kind of leaning on Pathfinder as expected, maybe because they just want to see if it does have that season 2, season 3 feel.
Yeah, or maybe it was just the throwback tournament. Thank you, Tech, for that. Just the other week, making people a little bit nostalgic for that old meta. I mean, still, I want to go back to season 0 meta where he had, you know, Lifeline and Bangalore along with Wraith. Those were fun. But, you know, very few people running the Bangalore nowadays. What is just the one, right? Over in EU. Anyhow, we're still waiting for game number 2 to get underway here. You know, you were talking about, of course, how frequently the ring likes to favor a certain zone. We'll see if that happens today. But the staging ending there is something that is pretty frequent, and so seeing the teams play it out in different ways. But it looks like we have a lot of teams that are ready to just stay and still fight edge, Tom.
It could bounce over towards Harvester. It could continue to go over towards those spots over towards staging, but it is a lot of fighting, especially when you have Bloodhound Gibraltar, and then when you have Pathfinder Watson, you're going to have these teams that are kind of setting up. So again, it's lack of caustics, changes to caustics, makes a lot of sense. Caustic still is pretty strong, especially when you go and are the only caustic in the lobby. But keep in mind that with more generators down, more Watsons, you have to be a little bit smarter with your ult. And that's really the big counter that happens. You have to worry about the Gibraltar bubbles going away, and you have to worry about the timing that you do with your ult, because if there's a lot of fences around, most likely there's going to be a generator, because the generator is what allows you to put those amount of fences down. So it has to be a team effort, focusing that generator, getting that down, and then you can go with your ultimate. But still very early in this one. And again, a lot of partner teams sitting on the left-hand side of the leaderboard. Not surprising. I think that we're going to have to see what Team Razer is going to do in 5th place, since it is Team Razer week. A lot of times when it is your week, that's when you go and play the best. They weren't able to pick up as many kills as they were hoping for. But again, I think that the lack of long-range weapons, especially on Gibraltar, which is Muffins, plays a big part into that. You should have your Evo shield charged up a lot earlier than that. And with the Volt, lack of ammo, etc., it's not that surprising that they weren't able to really push teams off of their spot.
Yeah, I think one of the things that worked against Team Razor is that when they were trying to find the fights on the edges, it just wasn't the solo affairs. You know, they were able to get the scans, and they were helpful. But it was just never an isolated fight for them. When they went over to train, you saw that they had a team underneath them, but they also had a team in the connector. And that's the thing when you're playing the edge compositions about trying to navigate that entire arena where you're trying to find those isolated fights, but sometimes you're just not able to, despite the great loot that they get over at Trials.
Exactly. Trials is, again, super powerful, but it has to come with the right combination of stuff. So when you're looking for the fights and not finding them, that gets a little bit frustrating, especially when it's the open day. And that's kind of what Team Razer was known for going into the previous season of Series E and Season 1. They just went around and they just, Apex Predator just preyed on all these other teams that were maybe new or their first time or weren't used to coming in through facing a team that's as aggressive as Team Razer. So we'll see where the zone shifts. We'll see where teams elect to rotate. And if there's not enough action, expect them to probably change their playstyle.
Yeah, here we go, heading into game number 2 on board with Team Razer. We have a fairly even drop path here, but it is on the very eastern side of the map. So it might be a little bit difficult for them to hit Trials, and they might have to actually kind of capitulate on that and end up in Skyhook proper. We'll see, though. Muffins, Flightman, it looks like they are going to be short on Trials here, and they might have to contest up against these other squads that are coming over here to Skyhook. Oh, no.
That's a good point. I mean, the flight path is absolutely brutal. And this is kind of what tournaments are about, though, is when you have to call the audible, when you have to make a different kind of play, it makes a lot of sense to go and do this. So we'll see what happens as Muffins doesn't land exactly towards the building, and now they're just kind of skedaddling and scurrying to each separate building. But Skyhook is one of those areas where there is plenty of space to go and focus on what's going on.
This is so infuriating to watch for Zeratrick. Unfortunately, he's been having difficulties connecting to this lobby. It looks like he disconnected twice during their flight and just as they landed as well. But it looks like he is in. Team Cheese It, though, down over here at Lava City. They are getting challenges for now. It's Prodigy Aces with that blue armor. It's already been cracked once again, popping the cells. So that slows down this push. Joey Blackout setting up barrels for his squad just in case they try to push up. But, this is typically what we see when we have the drops over here at Lava City. It's just going to be a 50-50 split down the northern path as Team Cruelty getting themselves into a fight. It's going to be Contrist. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as Oisapai has gone down. Scissors taking out views there. They will get the thirst onto them. That's going to be Moosin this time. Once again, Pickles, a lot of damage, has none to work with now as Contrist tries to push out. It's Vanek now left, taking out Scissors, and there it is. Team Cruelty going down. They survive, but they need to get the res, and they also need to respawn views over here at Overlook.
Always nice when you're down and the respawn is right next to you and there's a couple of armor swaps coming through. So if you're able to get some good communication with your team, and if there is enough loot, if the third party does come, you're able to fight this one, especially because they're not expecting you to have double purple armors here. So see if Views is going to be able to get back up. But a nice fight there from Contrist. And it's always nice to have that double armor swap towards the bottom of a building.
Yeah, and being over here at Overlook, typically the third parties don't really come from Frag East or from Refinery for quite some time now. It's Team Rockstar now making their way on into the zone. Tech is playing this crypto. They've got that Watson crypto composition. Matt Pickett falling back on over to that one for now as they continue their rotations in. They do have a team underneath them, though, and so it was very important for Tech to be able to get that high ground for his squad, pinning down that one player to the fences there, getting the damage off. The Volt shots connecting, 46 onto him, forcing out that bubble now. Here's Tech throwing out the nade, but Crummy stuck behind this truck. He does get the bat off as he's going to have to slow heal his health, though. The peek out, get the knock, and now there's only one player remaining on this squad as they will be able to take out Gordo, getting that thirst. That's going to be 2 points at the very least for Team Rockstar. Maybe one more on the board. We'll see if this last player can get away from them. They are trying to hunt them down, and it looks like, oh, full connect. King Chemist. 2-shot by the triple take, getting taken out there. So yeah, Rockstar will pick up the +3.
Really nice headshot there from Tech. That's basically exactly what he had to do before that player ended up turning the corner, but fresh off the res. Fuse is going to go down. It looks like Team Pop-Tarts in the vicinity. Big, massive shots are going to connect. And that looks like a pretty easy cleanup from Team Pop-Tarts, taking down Contrist after, again, taking down Team Cruelty. He had a phenomenal game number 1. So a lot of action over towards the back of Refinery. And this is really where a lot of the fighting does happen. It's that Overlook Epicenter Refinery team. Something about that area just makes all these teams want to send on each other.
Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure why they decided to. I mean, I guess, maybe they wanted to edge fight a little bit more, but taking that full 3v3 and pushing out through the open. On board with Team Pringles, though, who are playing up on this choke now. Doesn't look like they were able to get a beacon. It's hard to tell, but they are sitting on the blues. They are controlling a choke, and this house can, of course, be extremely strong if it does end up being a Western Geyser ending. We'll find out very shortly here as Ring 1 is still continuing to close. Here's Fury, though, popping that portal for the drop. We'll see what he gets out of that one. He already pre-dropped his secondary gun as well to be able to get back even quicker without losing anything. And what does he get out of this one? Gold helm, not bad. 4-8. We'll see. Don't know if anyone's playing a sniper for Team Pringles.
Yeah, not bad. Could be better. Could be worse. I would say that's not what you're looking for when you go and drop your gun. You're obviously looking for a weapon right there. So could get one of those out of trials if I wanted to, but I didn't. So gonna be a little disappointed with that. But that is a great priority building, and you can see the teams are setting up over here, Jamerson. So there's a lot of real estate to go and be taken right now. Casper looks like he wants to go and try to take the high ground. One of the things that you could do, even though it's really, really early right now, is Mercy only going to get a knock onto Crummy. We'll see if we can hop on over to that fight with Rockstar. But again, taking a lot of damage on the bird side. You do not want to be here right now. You try to get up into the area where Donut is directly beneath them with the Watson. Still, again, a little bit early for that. So Casper has to find an opening.
Yeah, it's South State now pushing up, finishing off Crummy there as going to continue their push on up. And they've got the team forced away. It's pretty far, and they don't need to fully commit onto this, especially when they're controlling a very strong choke for this ending, as it looked like it was going to be pulling more and more over to North Sorting, possibly over to West Geyser. But yeah, this choke can be incredibly strong, and it's already paid dividends for South State as they were able to pick up a kill along with additional loot. Now, Team Pringles, you do have that squad below them for now. Haven't really been able to work on their shields quite yet, as Fury still sitting on 300 damage towards that purple Evo.
Interesting to see if he wants to keep that gold helmet or give it on over. But there's the Q coming through. That's also going to be a portal. So nade in hand, but that portal does go fairly far. So the nade is going to go through, but most likely not going to connect as they go and make their way through, as that was a very, very nicely placed portal. I'm not sure what team was down there. That could still potentially be a team like, I'm not quite sure. Could have been Casper and their squad down low, but either way, Pringle's still valuing this building, which makes me feel like it should pull over here.
Yeah, and we were talking about the gold helm just a moment ago, and as soon as he has that portal, fully expected to go over to Tempest so he can get out some scans more and more. Presley should have his full fleet of barrels out as well, as there we go. You can see it. Yeah, we do have Prodigy, Aces, and Rakinishu and company over there. The only team in Geyser currently right now, it's men's 3-in-1 Shampoo, Clinical Legit, and Mike Lav. They're currently playing the north side of Sorting Factory. They've got a team inside the main building as well as the scans come out, but they have full control over this circle building, playing with this Watson, playing with the crypto as well. So a lot of utility coming out from this composition currently. They still need to work on Mike Lav's armor, but they're still sitting in a pretty good spot.
Men's 3-in-1 Shampoo, hoping that they are getting ready for the new Head & Shoulders or Herbal Essence partnership that is probably coming to Series Z here very soon after seeing that. But never miss, looking pretty shambles right now in terms of armor. Running around with just a gray at this point of the game means you're going to get absolutely ripped. So most likely running around looking for some scraps, seeing if you can find anything. But needs to focus up more on getting that up and finding 150 damage whenever you can. Looks like Hemlock R301. We'll see if that's just a spectator glitch, as the Spitfire Volt looks like it is in It's Bula's hand. And this team is going to take a fight over here. This is a very, very interesting fight. Most likely not going to get third party. This is complete edge, but it has to happen fairly quickly, especially after the bubble, after the nade as well. Never miss electing, like, they're going to go over towards the high ground, which is a pretty passive play, but I do like this.
Yeah, one thing I will say, they've got 185 crafting mats that they could have used. So, I mean, there was an opportunity for Jordy to at least get a blue for himself, throw that in. But it looks like they will just be happy with, of course, having this building for now. But it's a minute. They're on the edge of the zone right now. They need to finish this fight as quickly as possible here, As we go back on over to Sorting Factory, Team Applejack's getting pushed. Nacho goes down. Goofy Gamer will fall next to Rolders. Applejack's just brushing this one off. Yeah, it looks like they might have another game with a lot of kills behind it as well. Taking the high ground once again. It looks like they only secured 1 kill throughout all of that, as the port was used by the other squad. Going back and forth, the scans going down. That's keeping them at bay currently.
Yeah, the main thing is he's worried about overextending for the third party, but the shots going over towards the back, also realizing he just has a gray knockdown shield, is pretty big. And there's the finish coming in from Aves. Goofy Gamer gonna bite the dust there, and very smart play from Applejacks, because you saw the scans coming through. What they're basically waiting for is someone to get too separated, but you saw the discipline coming in, Rolders holding the high ground while the Wraith goes and finishes that kill off, and if she needs to queue back, she's gonna be able to do so. Here's the push coming in from Never Miss. I like this crawl up coming in for Ashi, but there's the scan, and he's going to be had. The caustic barrels over towards the high ground. There goes the bubble. That means they're going to go and infiltrate over towards this high ground area. Jordy did pop his Beast of the Hunt, but it's so tough to push into this caustic gas.
Yeah, well, the damage has been nerfed. You still get slowed and can be a very big nuisance, especially giving away information. Instead, he just full tanks it, goes on through. Only does 114 before going down now. Never Miss. They are able to get a 2-for-1 peek on the other side, but this is what I'm talking about. Their fight took way too long. The ring is closing in. It's only the second ring for now, but we're taking so much damage here. Back on board with Team Applejacks. You can see this is why it was so important for them not to overextend, as they lose one. That's gonna be Panders and Intel coming in to take out Aves. You can see got the triple purples on them now. They can continue this fight out. The scan comes out from the other side. The high ground, they are disconnected currently, so Team Intel can try and pick them apart as the scan comes out once again from Panders. And with that fire, allows Six to get onto the high ground. He's going to try and swoop around. There's a climb up here that they can use, but Panders took a little bit too much damage, so Six will back away to cover his squad. You gotta make sure to play this safely as possible, as they will be safe in the ring, and so really they can take all the time in the world here to try and finish off the rest of this squad, as now they're taking control of the roof.
Pander's one of our top fraggers over this OT number 4 that happened for the ALGS Winners Circuit. Team Razer electing to hold the jungle gym. You see the portal that went down for Hakulo. This is definitely a call coming in through on Muffin's end, and you're here fairly early, so you got to be careful. Zero Tricky hitting some scans, backing these players off. They're going to be checking all these angles here. There's so many teams around, and there's not much cover, especially when you don't have a Watson here to go and try to dodge these utilities that are coming your way. Team Cheese It now with their portal play as well. Scans coming in from Rakanishu. Rakanishu played Gibraltar for Team Rockstar, coming through previously in Season 1. Now he's on the Bloodhound, coming through with some really nice scans as well. Next one coming up in 6 seconds. Has to reload. Has the Gibraltar outside the dome. That's going to be Bambino. A little bit too overextended there. Hits the big Master for 44 through the slide. Playing the bubble perfectly again. So used to that as the former Gibraltar here. And now the res coming through. Third party possibly, but Matt Pick now on the rat cam. And that was a great job finishing that fight off.
You were talking about Rakanishu playing all sorts of legends, but really there he was just playing ball, breaking angles with that movement as well. He did go down, but he bought enough valuable time. And we'll see how much longer Matt Pick can survive for. Not much longer, as he's just stuck inside. And that's why it's so hard to rat in this day and age. Fury going down there as he overextends for that kill, but hey, they're going to be able to get him behind a rock and get the res as well. Here comes the scan, though, from the squad. The houses to their northwest. A counter scan coming out from Tempest to keep them at bay, and that will allow Fury to get back into the house safely. His Q is down, but he is within the safety of his compound for now. As you can see, the ring continuing to pull on over here towards the middle area between North Sorting and Geyser for the time being. Pringles set up here early on, and while they haven't been able to do as much damage, they find a kill here or there. They've got one purple as well, and you can see Presley is only 85 damage away from being able to get himself a purple Evo. Here comes the port out from Fury. That's to pick up probably Matt Pickett's loot there, as they moved here early on, Tom, so they need that loot.
And they know that the box has a purple armor, so that's going to be a pretty nice upgrade coming through. And they're going to use all those resources, like you said, to just continue to put that caustic into the late game. If that ends directly on that platform where the rope is, it's one of the best spots that you could be for Team Pringles. Now we're missing out making the rotation. It's Blue takes so much damage. Looks like he's trying to kidnap somebody, but I don't think that's going to happen. Overextended way too much. The ring is coming through. They had to make the play, but the bubble really not going to do much besides recover the banner right there. The big gatekeep coming through. Round 3 is going to rip apart. This is South State. They know how to do this one. Nate a little bit late. Gonna have to switch on over to the Mastiff there. And that player is zooming down the hill. Jordy is going to get knocked. That last player is going to be in the ring throughout all that too. Bronzy going to be on the case over towards the side. And it's a really nice job by South State. Playing the edge, just moving and gatekeeping that team out.
Yeah, we saw South State. They were holding that choke for the longest time. You could see exactly why. It's Blueberry Smalls, though, get that last kill onto Jordy. As Lonely Fans, they are the team that were set up to the northwest of Team Pringles. Now, we'll see how South State navigate this one. It can be very difficult to try and play off of this. We'll see if we can get even closer and maybe retake or take that building that is now unoccupied. But it's Team Intel playing still over here at Sorting Factory. They've been moving up. They've been playing the edge quite well, picking up kills here and there. Panda's popping that ultimate accelerant as they have 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go. What is their rotation going to be like? They know there's a full squad with the Watson over there by the circle building. You were talking about the jungle gym as well being held by, I can't quite remember right now. So it looks like it's going to be a full swing to the left-hand side now, playing their own jungle gym.
I believe that was Team Razer over towards that jungle gym. I remember that Muffins, again, made that call for the portal play to come down from Hakulo. But this is where things get interesting, Jamerson. Round number 4, round number 5. Zone starts to close. All these teams that have been in their spots, the priority spots, are just in there waiting for these teams to charge so they can go and get the kills. One of those teams is Team Pop-Tarts. Impulse taking some damage over towards the side. Lucas a little bit overextended. Stomps is there for the support. So it looks like they're just going to back off and play this area. Phoenix kit being popped. Looks like he's going to really take his time with this one as they're going to reset. But the problem when you go and face this is this team is basically trying to grief you because you're going to end up fighting another team that's in front of you. So this is just the second layer of the gatekeeping as the third and fourth parties are going to just rain down from the side.
And we can see with the x-ray, there's a squad just behind them to the south as well. And that's the pancake, the sandwich that you're talking about now. Pop-Tarts are going to try and make a port play, but right underneath, there is a squad already there setting up a port of their own. It was that same blue squad that we saw on the x-ray, only hitting for the 36 with that massive as he does back away. Ring starting to close in now as Lucas will pop back to try and get a battery off before going back on in here. Looks like it's going to be slow heals for himself as he starts using those cells. But now the pressure is on as it looks like they are ready to make the push on out. The Beast of the Hunt has already been popped by Impulse. They're trying to wait it out as long as possible as the defensive bombardment was used in that area as well. There are bubbles everywhere, but it's so hard to tell when you're colorblind. Like Impulse right now as he does get into the safety of that bubble to get that kill. He does back away, looking for the armor swap. Lucas goes down, and now there's only one remaining member left. Never mind. Rare Excellence will clean that one up. But from above, Team Pringles now starting to get proactive here. They're trying to finish them off. Stunny will get the kill onto his Watson. It's all up to Blurs left for Rare Excellence. As you know, they have at least secured themselves top 10, but here's Team Razer. They've got 2 purples, they've got the gold, they're still playing the jungle gym. They called the ring perfectly.
Really heads up play to be able to hold this for quite some time too. It's not as easy as it looks. Oh, no. As Zeratricky lags out temporarily, takes some damage, but he's back and looks like Blueberry Smalls is going to be taken out from Pride. Team Cheez-It still in this one, as well as Joey Blackout is ripping some scout shots with that gold mag across the map. But we talked about the importance of getting this caustic to the late game, and playing this fence is a really smart play. So they're watching the platform over towards the side because that's the only spot that they can go and take damage. Meanwhile, they're looking for some free kills over towards the right if anyone wants to be over down towards that bottom hand side. A couple knocks coming in for Mercy only. Looks like he's gonna get finished though. That's gonna be South State going out. Rice Krispies in a little bit of a scuffle too. Stunny's down. This is the team that's been down low for a while. It's Casper, Bird, and Stunny stuck in the middle of this geyser area. Not ideal situation. We'll see if Bird can get that res off. It looks like he's going for it.
Yeah, and he needs to do it right now as the ring will start closing in on them. It's the gold bag res as well. So the reset will be fast as the zone starts closing in. Now Team Razer have used their bubble here as the zone starts closing in. And They are in between two teams. They got a team to their west, along with, of course, that team to their east. Those Prodigy Aces and company there is. They've got to be careful about which side they peek on over. Muffin taking a lot of damage as the defensive bombardment comes down to them. They just go ahead and pop into the pill to survive for the time being. But it's the full send coming out from their western squad, forcing out that bubble early on. Zera Tricky now will back away, but it's going to be Muffins dropping down into the bubble, doing a lot of damage. But it was Six that was able to pick that one up. Hakulo going down now. It's going to be Team Intel taking this team fight win. Metro drops down to 1 HP, and Team Cheesa coming in for the third party now. Rakanishi taking a lot of damage. He does get the knock, and now there's just one left on Team Intel. And it's all up to Six. We'll see how much longer he can survive for. We are the top 6 position now, and of course, every single team that you outlast here gets you more and more points. As now Prodigy Aces will fall. Blueberry Smalls picks that one up. And how close are they? They're just on the other side here. They go on over. Rakanishu will be able to fall back and buy time for Joey Blackout on that gold armor to get the full reset, but he runs out of ammo. He goes down. It will be them going down in 6th place now. We've hit our top 5. We're in that rat cam with Blurs, who's still alive for Rare Excellence.
The Tomcat rat cam. The cat's trying to sniff these rats out. Tom and Jerry style. We'll see what Blur's going to be able to do. Remember, he was stuck towards the bottom and hit the Q, came up over towards the side. Looked like he was going to eat the defensive bombardment and just collapse. But now Rice Krispie Treats has made their way from the bottom to the top. Maybe it was a good zip line coming in from Casper. They have the team over towards the side on the jungle gym, and they're fully aware of that. 5 squads of this zone continues to move. It's going to be very slow. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds until it collapses on the very end here. As now Casper actually falls, but he does have the battery. He does have the grapple if he wants to get back over towards his team. And they can slow play this down towards the direct middle, but there is another team that they're meeting towards the bottom.
Yeah, it would have been so great if he could set up a zip for himself, but now they have a team above them. They have a team to their east as well, trying their best to survive for now. The Study is healing up with that gold armor, but oh, he does not get that sell-off in time. It's all up to Bird to try and last for Team Rice Krispies here, but you know, there's a Caustic on one side. Your team's bleeding out. The zone's closing in very slowly. Blueberry Smalls takes a lot of damage. Now, Team Rice Krispies are out. We're down to our top 4 squads. 8 players remaining here. Just a solo rat trying to survive still for Rare Excellence. So they've done actually a good job, as 6 will go down 4th place. Rare Excellence goes down in 3rd place. It's all up to Team Lonely Fans to finish this one off. It is a full 3v3, but they still have this beautiful high ground angle to work off of. Stanky putting the stink on that one, doing a lot of damage here, handing over some extra ammo as well. Ever the team player, it's a 1-for-1 exchange that they have not dropped down yet, but here we go. Death from above as he drops right onto that Bloodhound, and Team Lonely Fans will take game number 2.
Really nice job of keeping that high ground and then falling down, getting the trades when they needed to. That zone is absolutely brutal. Again, thought Rice Krispie Treats was going to be able to do something, but as soon as they drop down, that other team scoots behind them, takes the high ground, exactly what they should have, and it ends up paying off for them. I believe that was OnlyFans that was putting down that pressure from the top-hand side the entire time, especially with that Scout. Scout is not the ideal situation right there, but they really made it work.
Yeah, that's a big win in game number 2 for Team Lonely Fans, who were in the middle of the pack with 3 points after game number 1. That will propel them to start matching up with Cheez-It, Apple Jacks, Rice Krispies, and Team Cruelty. We have to remember Team Cruelty went down early on there in game number 2, and so they could have really lost a lot of positioning there. But great game, great way to finish it all out. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 of Series E right after this.